We all enjoy a good mystery, but it might wear on our nerves if we don't figure out the truth in the end. The desire to categorize things and create order in our life and society is part of the human condition. We enjoy a little mystery because it piques our innate curiosity, but we also enjoy solving or explaining the mystery because the unknown is something to be dreaded and avoided. This desire to categorize and explain occurrences makes us feel more in control. So, what if I told you about a mile-long, centuries-old stone wall? Rocks, carefully arranged in a circle. Colossal images carved into the desert surface. For sure you'd know what these landmarks are, right? We'll guess again. Instead of the Great Wall of China or Stonehenge, these are all ancient American ruins and landmarks. Although the United States is a relative newcomer on the world stage, it has long been home to people who have left traces of their presence that are as mysterious as those found round the world. The mystery of the Hemet Maze Stone, Hemet, California. A strange symbol known as the Hemet Maze Stone can be found near the town of Hemet in Reinhardt Canyon in Southern California. It's a maze inside a square or rectangle made up of interconnecting rectilinear shapes that form a cyclic pattern of mazes. The overall design resembles a swastika, a symbol that has been utilized in Native American and Asian art for millennia before being linked with modern connotations. The figure's resemblance to a swastika is quickly noted, leading to vandalism in the 1930s when someone etched a Nazi insignia into the petroglyph. Archaeologists are unsure who created the drawing or how old it is. The creator of the petroglyphs has been attributed to a number of different people, from an obscure indigenous Californian civilization to Chinese Buddhist monks. The possibilities are endless. Let's look at the two prominent explanations and assess them in the light of what archaeologists, historians, and other experts know about the artist who created the maze. The first and by far most disputed theory: the petroglyph is made by Chinese Buddhist monks or shipwrecked sailors. According to proponents of this theory, sections of the maze resemble interwoven swastikas forming a giant swastika-like sign. This is a common Buddhist symbol that represents eternity. This theory is influenced by suggestions that the Chinese reached the Americas before Columbus arrived to the island of Hispaniola. If any culture could have reached and established settlement in the Americas before the Europeans, it certainly could have been the Chinese. Chinese Admiral Zheng He led expeditions to Malaysia, Sumatra, India, and East Africa in the early 15th century. Some enthusiasts have speculated that the Chinese could have reached the Americas as a result. Former Navy Commander Gavin Menzies has even produced a book titled 1421, the year China discovered America, implying that the Chinese admiral completed the voyage to America before the emperor halted his exploration mission and erased all evidence of the voyage. However, there are a few flaws in this theory. For starters, many historians dismiss it since it lacks actual proof, and Menzies fails to reference authentic sources. Another issue is that there's no proof of pre-Columbian Chinese presence in California. There are no Chinese towns, no monastic ruins, nothing that suggests Chinese or Buddhist monk colonies. Moreover, while swastikas appear in Chinese Buddhist art, the Buddhist swastika shows little relation to the swastika-like figure on the Hemet Maze Stone. According to the second major explanation, the petroglyphs were made by indigenous Californians. This argument fits well with the traditional picture of Southern California history, and is based on the parallels between the maze petroglyphs and other examples of rock art in Southern California. The petroglyph on the Hemet Maze Stone resembles Rancho Bernardo-style rock art found in Riverside and San Diego counties. This design is characterized by a large number of rectilinear shapes made up of parallel lines that meet at right angles. In the Rancho Bernardo style, there are no figures, such as flora or animals, only abstract geometric shapes. The art, like the Hemet Maze Stone, is mostly constructed out of lines and boxes. The Salton Sea, Palm Canyon, Travertine Point, Sunshine Summit, and Rancho Bernardo are just a few of the locations where this style of rock art may be found in Riverside and San Diego counties. The fact that archaeologists have yet to associate the art style to a distinct indigenous civilization is one flaw in this argument. The villages of Rancho Bernardo have been suggested by archaeologists as the source of the Rancho Bernardo style. Many specimens of Rancho Bernardo rock art may be discovered in the community's traditional region, but it can also be found in the Lucieno, Juaneyo, Cupeño, and Caujilla cultured domains in the north and east. According to rock art specialist and founding member of the American Rock Art Association, the art form may have originated in Cumayaye area and migrated north and east from there. However, he also suggests that it could have come from the desert and moved west and southward instead. Both of these ideas are not without flaws. The notion that the Hemet Maze Stone was constructed by the Chinese, on the other hand, faces more obstacles than must be overcome before the theory can be accepted. No irrefutable archaeological or historical evidence that the ancient Chinese were in the Americas before the Europeans has been discovered as yet. The Hemet Maze Stone is also made in a popular rock art style of Southern California. Because the Hemet Stone and other examples of similar rock art in the area lie so far inland, a somewhat large-sized community consisting of many outposts would be required. This suggests a long-term presence, and archaeologists may discover Chinese-style outposts as well as Chinese material culture dating back to the pre-Columbian period. In California, however, no Chinese colonies, monasteries, or material culture dating back before 1500 have been discovered. So far, only indigenous California cultural materials have been found with the rock art, such as the Hemet Maze Stone. Arrowheads, containers, mortars, and other Native American Stone Age tools have been discovered all across Southern California, along with related rock art. The petroglyph was most likely made by indigenous Californians or other Native Americans, but future occupants may discover that the history of Eurasian travel in the Americas is more complicated than previously imagined. The Miami Circle, Florida. The worst place to find an ancient mystery is on valuable real estate. That made it a battle to safeguard history from a developer's bulldozer. More historical places have been lost to construction in Florida than any other reason, which is why local historians say that when money talks, history walks. While removing an old structure in downtown Miami in 1998, a 38-foot diameter circular pattern of holes dug into limestone bedrock was discovered. It was one of the most significant finds in Florida archaeology, but there was a major stumbling block. It was located on a $10 million plot of land that could be worth 20 times that much if converted to make way for a new high-rise condominium. Located in the center of the city, south of the Miami River, the strange circle was estimated to have been built about 1,000 to 2,000 years ago by the Tequesta Indians, who had died out centuries before the Seminoles migrated into this area of the Florida peninsula. Archaeologists from Miami-Dade County Historic Preservation Division examined the strange circle and determined the holes were used to support posts for a large, round council house. The Brickell Point geological features were listed as part of Miami Circle. The circle has been linked with Atlantis, as well as being a Bermuda Triangle corner marker. According to one theory, the pre-Columbian circle was part of a worldwide system of ancient circles that was linked to Stonehenge in some way. Others speculated it was a revered Mayan astronomical observatory used to track time. New Age historians, Indian shaman spiritualists, and stool children all wanted a glimpse of the ancient discovery or to feel its mystical properties. It was built on land originally owned by William Brickell, a pioneer who operated a trading post in the early 1800s. Brickell, instrumental in the founding of the city of Miami, had his remains reinterred in Woodland Park Cemetery by his family in 1946. The work of unearthing the old circle was not easy. Previously, the land included 6 two-story apartment buildings and a swimming pool, and the ground was littered with rusted plumbing pipes, steel reinforcement, concrete, and other garbage. After a lot of hard work, the modern relics were removed, revealing at least 200 more post holes in the limestone, in addition to the ones that formed the strange circle. A large animal carving cut into the stone was also revealed. A sea turtle, shark bone, and teeth from an extinct monk seal, and the human, are all carved among the 24 rectangular basins. The most intriguing pieces were copper and galena bits, as well as 2 small axe heads constructed from materials not native to Florida. This suggests that the early people had a broad trading network 2,000 years ago. Archaeologists believe the site was used for ritual or ceremonial purposes based on the exotic subjects unearthed at the circle. The discovery of shark and turtle carcasses in what appeared to be a deliberate configuration, presumably for ceremonial purposes, strengthens this notion. In support of the hypothesis that the circle was constructed as a massive astronomical calendar or ancient almanac, surveyors found that the autumnal equinox, as well as the summer and winter solstices, may be predicted by solitary holes found 41 feet either side of the circular center. The idea that the circle was a Mayan project isn't so far-fetched when you consider how close the Yucatan Peninsula is to the tip of Florida, and the Mayans did build seagoing canoes. It would have been easy for Mayan mariners to ride the Gulf Stream over to Florida, though returning home might have been a problem. The Miami Circle was a fantastic archaeological find that merited more investigation, but it was impeding a multi-million-dollar construction. The media hyped the activities, which drew so large a crowds that the area had to be walled off. A camera was put in the roof of a nearby high-rise, transmit pictures to the internet for people who couldn't make it to Miami, and there were 200 websites posting news on the Miami Circle. The 2,000-year-old circle had transformed into a kind of shrine, attracting attention from all over the world. Maybe there was something magical about this circle after all. Save the Circle groups staged candlelight vigils, and demonstrators marched with signs urging the property be saved from development. Thousands of emails were received, pleading for action from state and local officials to save the circle. Experts even looked into the possibility of creating a massive plaster cast of the site, or slicing it into portions and transporting it to a safer location. Legislation sponsored in October 2003 would allow a feasibility assessment to be conducted on adding the prehistoric site into the Biscayne National Park. The 2.2-acre site was eventually seized by Miami-Dade County through the law of eminent domain and was later purchased for $26.7 million with a combination of funds from the State Conservation and Recreational Lands Program. The ancient people who once occupied the site could never have imagined the commotion the strange circle could cause 2,000 years later in downtown Miami, or that images of their work would flash around the world on the internet. Thanks to local contributions and a loan from the Trust for Public Land, to preserve the site until more study can be done, the circle has been covered with gravel. Perhaps the strangest aspect of the Miami Circle case is how the ancient past has clashed with the present. Perhaps the ancients have sent us a message in the circle. Now all we have to do is find out what it is. The mysterious Blyth and Toglios, Blyth, California. The Blyth and Toglios, often known as America's Nazca Lines, are a set of massive geoglyphs in the Colorado Desert, just north of Blyth, California. There are around 600 intaglios, or anthropomorphic geoglyphs, in southwest United States alone, but the ones in Blyth are notable for their size and complexity. There are 6 figures in total, spread across 3 locations on 2 mesas, all within 1,000 feet of each other. Humans, animals, objects, and geometric shapes are all depicted in the geoglyphs, which can be viewed from the air. In November 1931, Army Air Corps pilot George Palmer discovered Blyth geoglyphs while flying from Hoover Dam to Los Angeles. His finding prompted a survey of the area, and the massive figures were designated as historical sites and dubbed giant desert figures. Due to lack of money during the Great Depression, additional investigation of the site would have to wait until the 1950s. National Geographic Society and the Smithsonian Institute sent a team of archaeologists to investigate the Toglios in 1952, and a story with aerial images appeared the September edition of National Geographic. It should be noted that some of the geoglyphs have evident tire damage as a result of the location being used for desert training during World War II. The geoglyphs needed to be restored and fences built to safeguard them from vandalism and harm. As State Historic Monument number 101, the Blyth and Toglios are now protected by 2 lines of fences and are open to the public at all times. Because geoglyphs are difficult to date, it's impossible to say when they were created, but they're thought to be between 450 and 2,000 years old. Some of the huge figures have been linked to 2,000-year-old cliff houses, which supports the latter theory. However, more recent research from the University of California, Berkeley has placed them around the year 900 AD. The largest intaglio, reaching 171 feet, shows a male figure, or giant. A secondary figure of a male with a prominent phallus measures 102 feet from head to toe. The final human figure is oriented north-south, with outstretched arms, outward-pointing feet, and visible knees and elbows. From head to toe, it measures 105.5 feet. A man with a spear, 2 fish below him, and a sun and snake above him are depicted in the fisherman glyph. It is the most contentious of the glyphs, as some claim it was carved in the 1930s, despite the fact the majority of people feel it's considerably older. Horses or mountain lions are said to be the animal figures. A rattlesnake's eyes are caught in the form of 2 rocks in the snake intaglio. It's 150 feet long, but has been destroyed over time by automobiles. Although there's no consensus on which tribes built the Blyth and Toglios, or why, they are assumed to have been created by Native Americans who lived around the Colorado River. According to one theory, they were built by the Patayan, who dominated the region from 700 until 1550 AD. According to native Mojave and Quechan tribes in the area, the human figures symbolize Mastamo, the creator of the earth and all life, and the animal figures represent Judacula, one of the 2 mountain lion people who had a role in the creation story. In ancient times, natives in the area performed ritual dances to worship the creator of life. The Blyth glyphs are, if nothing else, a manifestation of Native American art and a glimpse to the artistic ability of the time. The geoglyphs were created by scraping away at black desert stones to reveal brighter-colored earth beneath. They created the submerged designs by stacking rocks, drawn away from the center, out around the outside margins of the symbols. Some speculate that these magnificent ground carvings were meant to be religious messages to ancestors or drawings to the gods. Indeed, these geoglyphs are inconspicuous from the ground and difficult, if not impossible, to decipher. The images become obvious only when viewed from above, which is how they were discovered in the first place. According to an archaeologist in the Bureau of Land Management, in Yuma, Arizona, there isn't a single one where a person may stand on the hill and stare at a glyph in its entirety. The Blyth and Toglios are now considered to be among the largest of California's Native American drawings, and a chance of locating comparable, concealed geoglyphs in the desert still exists. Enjoy exploring mysteries like this? Please hit that subscribe button and remember to tap the bell. The Mystery of Judacula Rock, Sylva, North Carolina. In the mountains of Jackson County, North Carolina, there is a gigantic, enigmatic rock with petroglyphs that have yet to be interpreted. The rock holds great significance for the Cherokee Indians, since it is said to date back over 3,000 years, to a time before the Cherokee Indians inhabited the country. The location of the rock is a sacred spot where ancient ceremonies were held. The Cherokees gave it the name Judacula, which is a form of the name Judacula, because they believed it was an ancient beast that ruled the mountains. Its name translates to "he has them slanting," or slant-eyed giant, referring to a mighty person with superhuman abilities who could jump from mountain to mountain and even control the wind, rain, thunder, and lightning. The creature could transport regular humans to the spirit world and speak with them. Appears to be a godlike monster akin to those mentioned in mythology all around the world. Judacula was said to be almost 7 feet tall, with a horribly hairy body, 7 digits on each hand and foot, all with claw-like finger and toenails. Judacula landed on the rock once and left a 7-fingered handprint on it. Strange sounds and UFO sightings during the night are among the many rumors and stories surrounding the Mystery Rock. A significant and powerful character in Cherokee mythology, Judacula was in charge of the weather, including the wind, rain, thunder, and lightning. The god also owned all the game in the mountains, and the Cherokee were only allowed to hunt with his permission. Judacula was deeply involved in the Cherokee people's lives. Enjoy exploring mysteries like this? Please hit that subscribe button and remember to tap the bell so you are notified when we put out new videos. The stone is a curvilinear-shaped chunk of soapstone rock covered in nearly 1,500 petroglyphs. The petroglyphs date from between 2000 and 3000 BCE, and quarry tools were unearthed while digging around the stone. There were no other stones in the region with identical patterns, which added to the mystery of the stone. It is found near the mountain's base, where there's an abundance of metals and minerals, to the point where electromagnetic interference is said to be detected. Unfortunately, Judacula Rock's hidden meanings will remain hidden for the time being. The historic site of Judacula Rock is owned and administered by Jackson County and is open every day until sunset. It is located in Chloe, North Carolina, and there's a visitor parking lot as well as a recently built viewing platform around the rock. There are numerous theories about the meaning of the petroglyphs on the rock. They range from maps to religious symbols with hidden messages to ancient people's graffiti. They could be animals, humans, or other important figures. A group of scientists recently employed laser-guided equipment to construct a precise image of the Judacula Rock in order to analyze it. Unfortunately, because the original rock is exposed to the elements, weather has begun to corrode it, and the symbols will eventually fade away. If you have friends interested in historical mysteries, please share this video with them. It really helps us out a lot. The Mystery of Dighton Rock, Massachusetts. In the fall of 1618, John Danza, with his freshly minted degree from Harvard College, visited the south shore of Massachusetts in Taunton and took a side trip to see one of the curiosities of the age, Dighton Rock. The rock, probably carved by American Indians, recorded a time when hostile ship arrived and fought with the local people. Danza recorded, and thus began the mystery of Dighton Rock. There's been no solution to the mystery of Dighton Rock, but it has fascinated scholars, amateur archaeologists, and students of New England Native American tribes' interest for centuries. The rock itself weighs 40 tons and is about 5 feet high, 11 feet long, and bears markings and inscriptions across one of its sides. It has been interpreted more than 25 times and generated more than 35 theories as to what it means. It lay in the Taunton River in Dighton for more than 300 years, where it was partially submerged at high tide. Danza, who would later become a minister in Dorchester, helped popularize the rock with his brief description, which was forwarded to the Royal Society of London for its consideration. His drawing of the rock remains in collection of the British Museum today. The prolific Cotton Mather highlighted the rock in a sermon in 1689, which he later published as "The Wonderful Works of God Commemorating Praises Bespoke of the God of Heaven," in a Thanksgiving sermon, containing reflections upon the excellent things done by the great God. Mather didn't speculate of the specifics of the writing on the rock, but rather mentions them as writings from a previous era caused on a large rock no man alive knows how or when. However, among his other theories, Mather postulated that before the noble Puritans arrived in New England, a group of explorers had crossed from Europe and settled in America, only to die miserably. President of Yale declared the figures from the rock were Phoenician, deriving definitions mainly known for the seafaring in the Mediterranean, and managed to visit North America and left the writing as a calling card. This idea also gained traction in Europe as well. Receiving fresh attention among British and French historians, others concluded the markings were from Armenians who had made their way to America. Another camp, which has been trying to connect the origins of Native American tribes with Asia, proposed the characters were from explorers from Japan, China, or other parts of Asia. Later, in 1789, George Washington, while touring New England, thought the Dighton markings were left by American Indians. They were similar, he concluded, to Native American drawings he was familiar with in Virginia. The controversy was reignited when a Danish writer published his Antiquities Americani, which contained more than 40 pages of analysis of the Dighton rock. Graphics included the markings on the rock. Almost no one else has been able to see the same thing, despite countless hours of study devoted to searching. In 1912, Edmund Burke Delabar laid new claim on the rock, arguing it was evidence of Portuguese discovery of America. The Brown University scholar lived somewhat near the rock for many years and had spent countless hours trying to interpret the writing. He concluded the inscription had been written by Portuguese explorer Miguel Corte Real, who had left Portugal in 1502 on an exploratory voyage and was never heard from again. Delabar proposed that he had been heard from in the inscription on the rock that reads, "I, Miguel Corte Real, 1511, in this place by the will of God I became chief of the Indians." In 1963, a group of preservationists finally wrested the rock from the riverbed and placed it in its own museum in Berkeley, Massachusetts, where it continues to inspire controversy.